Hey, how's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from cyberfretbass.com, and in this lesson I'm going to show you kind of a bluesy, poppy riff in the key of G. It's actually over kind of a blues chord progression and kind of has a little bit of a question and answer kind of thing to it. So first I'm just going to go ahead and play it on through, and then I'll break it down for you. Alright, so first what I'm going to do is just kind of play this slow, break it down, show you how to play it, and then I'm going to go into a little bit more about the note choices, you know, where these notes come from, how they relate to the different chords. Alright, so this is a blues in the key of G, and I kind of call this a question and answer blues because what's happening is this riff is kind of broken down into two parts. And so if you listen to this, the first part is the question, and this is the answer part. So starting out, the first chord is G7. I'm going to start with a G note here on the 4th string at the 3rd fret. Go to the 3rd string, 1st finger at the 2nd fret. And then I have kind of a ghost note. I'm not playing a note, I'm actually lifting my finger up, and you kind of hear this thud, so like that. And then all I'm going to do is, the next notes are just going up chromatically from the 3rd fret, 4th fret, and 5th fret there on the 3rd string. So. And then I'm going to go up to the 2nd fret on the 2nd string. And then I actually have another ghost note kind of ending the first part of this riff just on the 3rd string. It's where I'm kind of touching as I'm getting back to kind of starting this over again with the second part of the riff. So here's that first kind of question part. All right, now the next part, kind of the answer part of our question and answer, kind of starts off the same. You're going to start on your 3rd fret of your 4th string, go to that 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and then this time we're going to kind of shift positions up the neck. And kind of as I'm shifting, I'm going to do a ghost note where I'm just lightly touching the string here with my left hand, but I'm playing the 2nd string. So I get that kind of percussive sound. And then I'm going to be doing a series of pull-offs, starting with my pinky on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, pulling off to my 3rd finger at the 7th fret, and then pulling off to my 1st finger at the 5th fret. So then I'm going to come back to my 3rd finger on that 2nd string at the 7th fret, back to my 1st finger, 2nd string, 5th fret, and then ending with my 3rd finger on the 3rd string at the 7th fret. So. Okay, so again, the question part. And the answer part. All right, so that whole thing is for the G7 chord, and in this particular incarnation of the blues, you're going to be playing that twice. This whole riff That's two measures. And so we first have 4 measures of a G7 chord, so you're going to be playing that twice in a row. Now, in going to the C7 chord, it's just the same riff, but what we're doing is we're starting here on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. So it's going to go. So all you did was just shift everything up 1 set of strings towards the floor. All right, so that was 2 measures of the C. Then it comes back to 2 measures of the G. Then we go to a D7 chord. Now we got to shift up the neck a little bit. All we're doing is going up 2 frets from where we were over the C7 chord. So we're going to start at the 5th fret on the 3rd string, which is D note. Just the same exact riff, just up 2 frets from where we did the C7. And then it finally ends on 2 more measures of the G7. All right, and then this is a blues, so you're just going to keep repeating those 12 measures for however long you want to jam, and then the very last time you can kind of, simple ending, just end on a G on that 3rd fret on the 4th string. So let me go ahead and I'm going to play through the whole thing, just kind of in slow motion, and then I'll kind of break down where these notes come from. All right, now what I'm going to do is just kind of give you some ideas of where those notes come from. And I'm not going to go into a full-blown theory lesson. This kind of assumes you know a little bit about theory and note functions, but I'm going to kind of go into where those notes come from and how they relate to the chord. So, and all of these are over a dominant 7th chord, and a dominant 7th chord is made up of the 1st, 3rd, 5th, and the flat 7 of a G major scale. So if I play a G major scale and count numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Well, what I'm doing is playing the 1st note, the 3rd note, the 5th note, and then taking that 7th note of the scale and lowering it by a half step and getting what's called a flat 7. So, so this riff starts out on the 1 of the G7 chord, goes to the 3, then I do that ghost note, and then what I'm doing is just a couple of chromatic passing tones that lead up to the 5. And then I go to the 6. And so that all is kind of based around 1, 3, and 5 of that G7 chord, with just a couple of chromatic passing tones, and then that 6 there on the 2nd string. Now for the next part, the answer part, I start off with my 1, my 3, and then I'm shifting positions. And when I do this, that note on the 5th fret of the 2nd string is actually my G note, just an octave higher. And then I'm actually starting with my pinky on a note that is not in the chord, but creates kind of a little bit of a bluesy kind of sound. And it's the flat 3. And what that means is that if I was to play the G major scale, 1, 2, 3, I'm taking that 3rd note of a G major scale and lowering it by a half step. I just happen to be doing it up an octave here on the second string. So that's flat 3, a 2, and a 1. And so that's very common. If you've ever played like a G minor pentatonic scale in a kind of G major blues context, that flat 3 is kind of a little bit of that bluesy sound that you get. So then up here, we get this flat 3, 2, 1, coming back to the 2, 1, and then we finally end on the 6 on that third string. All right, now you can definitely, mutate this around, take those couple of positions, change around some rhythms, and make it your own, but have a little bit of fun with your little question and answer, kind of poppy, bluesy. I haven't come up with a good name for it yet. I will by the time you're actually looking at this. Have a good one.